right, so one thing I want to talk about today, super important, is picking. And this would probably be the one thing you kind of want to get used to all throughout, especially as you're learning how to play guitar. Yeah, picking's super important. Yeah, like it's super important. Because I recall how awkward it was picking when I first started playing. It was like really rough and rigid, and I can't really replicate that anymore. It's kind of hard, especially now over the years. I've just gotten used to using a pick and using my fingers as well. But very important to kind of do this every day and just kind of get used to your instrument, which is the guitar. So for me, I typically use two different methods. I use a pick, this little guy right here, if you can see it. It's a pretty thick one. They all come in different shapes and sizes. Mine's pretty thick. It's I believe it's 1.5 millimeters thick. I don't know if you can see how thick that is. It's like 3 C's. And they can come pretty flimsy, pretty big too. These ones are pretty small. These are like the jazz pick size. So they're really, I guess you would say, ergonomic. And the way to kind of hold it is, you kind of have usually I kind of have my thumb and my index finger in kind of a cross. So I have the pad of my thumb, this part right here, going against the side of my index finger, which is right here. So it kind of looks like this. Kind of perpendicular to each other. Right? So it kind of looks like this. I don't know if you can see that. I wish I had a better way of showing you. But typically that's how I hold it. And in terms of fingers, using your fingers is a pretty good way to do it too. I kind of do the same method like as if I am holding a pick, right? I can kind of show you that. So it kind of looks like this against the strings. I usually have my thumb kind of parallel to the strings that I'm playing on, and my index finger is kind of sort of parallel, but it's angled against the string. So if I were to show, right? Right? I mean, it's just up to preference at that point, right? It's up to preference, but I mean, I like both. I use both all the time, and personally, you can never go wrong getting used to your fingers. Fingers are always great, and it always feels and sounds good. So I recommend getting used to, your thumb and index finger, kind of going through it. And one thing you want to make sure when you are using your fingers, and it kind of applies to the pick as well, is that you don't want to be plucking the strings. You don't want to be, going, you don't want to pluck away from the strings, right? Wait, I wish I could show you. Maybe I'll move the camera around, so just kind of bear with me, just so you can kind of see how that looks. So you kind of don't want to do this. Can you see that? You don't want to do that. You kind of want to go, you want to use gravity to your advantage. So you kind of want to go down the string, right? Onto the next. So what I would say to get used to this, kind of just practice this. Kind of go down, right? Just kind of get used to this motion. And it's going to apply to the pick too. This applies to the pick, right? Just get used to that. Doesn't have to be hard. Just really feel the string kind of going against your finger. See how nice it sounds when you ring it out? It should feel like you're kind of gliding along the strings, the same thing's gonna apply to the pick. And I guess you would say, I mean, if you use your index finger, it's kind of the same thing too. Right? Because I'm not plucking with my index. I'm not doing that. I'm kind of like going in the opposite direction, actually. So it's like kind of your upstrokes, right? And then I'll show you with the pick too. So if you have a pick, which is a great way to learn too, I love using picks. It's kind of the same thing. Hopefully you can see this. So you don't want to do like this. This is like a really extreme example, right? You kind of want to go, you want to glide against the string. And what's important too is that, I mean, there's different methods of, you know, picking. You can do flat picking, right? Oh, someone's trying to call me. Oh, I just hung up. Okay. So you can do this thing called flat picking, where you have the pick at complete parallel with the string. I mean, you could do that, but preferably you kind of want to angle it about maybe like 45 degrees. It's kind of hard to see it from here. Yeah, but if you can see that. And then kind of use the pick's design, which it has a little bevel, which is kind of like a little incline that goes inward, right? Makes it, it's kind of hard to explain. You would have to see it. But you want to use that to your advantage, right? So same thing, you just kind of want to glide down. Hopefully you can see that. You see that? See how I'm kind of just gliding over it? I'm not going pop. I'm not picking away. You don't want to pick away. You want to pick with. You want to pick along the strings, right? Yeah. You definitely want to use gravity to your advantage, you know? And don't force it. Try not to force it. It's best to kind of have a relaxed hand, especially on the right hand. You want to be relaxed, you know? Think of it like kind of think of it like in a Zen kind of mentality. I mean, this just applies to a lot of things, and honestly, it makes it all the more easier. You don't tense up. You don't feel stressed out trying to figure it out. You know, the more you kind of just approach it in that manner, it becomes all the more easier, and it just takes care of itself. You know, I can't stress it enough. You have to. I would say you just keep a composed mind, stay relaxed, you know, especially relax. It just makes it all the more easier, you know? But I mean, that pretty much covers that for the most part. I mean, if anyone needs like extra details on that, I can try to make another video or something and then do my best to explain it. But for the most part, I mean, that's the best way that I can explain it without dragging this out. But I know it's early in the morning, but I hope everyone has a good morning, right? Yep. See it.